in what has been a pretty good year for shooters so far. I mean, there's been Overwatch, there's been Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1. The king may be back to take the throne. We'll have to find out, and that is why I'm joined by Calf, who's been playing a lot of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So where to start?
Or as I call it, CoD in space, mate.
CoD in space. Well, let's start there. I mean, the space element. How does that work? I mean, is it revolutionary to the series? Is it feel kind of just the same but in space? I mean, how is it?
Interesting. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, what does this mean? Jetpacks and stuff? What's the spacey wacy stuff? I don't know about this. But after playing it, it works. So CoD in space is split into two sections. You are on a spaceship. In fact, there's three sections, because you're on a spaceship, which is your hub, where you venture out onto all your missions from your main spaceship. And from there, you have a ship-to-ship vehicle, which is where you take part in space combat. And space combat is actually pretty decent. It's very reminiscent of Eve Valkyrie, but without the virtual reality, that kind of space, that tight space combat where you aim a little bit before what you're looking at to try and hit them. You've got missiles, you've got machine guns. That is very fun. But then you've also got traditional Call of Duty on the ground, or boots on the ground as they call it, kind of, because you still have your rigs, which are like it's not a jetpack, but that kind of exoskeletal thing that allows you to boost. So it is, for me, it is a little bit like Black Ops 3 or Advanced Warfare in the movement of the ground combat.
Yeah.
But the space combat is completely new and it works. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of one of the things I was most looking forward to see. How is it the Jackal? Is that your
that's your ship to ship?
You go out and the kind of, how does that control in space, and how kind of intense are the dogfights? Like, how good are they?
They're decent. They're not amazing, but it's very tightly controlled. So you've got a certain area that you're in. You're not going to go out of that area, but there's plenty of things to fight within it. And it does feel like you're in space because you can rotate completely 360 degrees or in any direction. So you can go upside down, basically, even though there is no upside down in space. If you get me. So that works as well. And, I mean, you mentioned they were the kings. Infinity Ward were the kings. And for me, it was all about, can they bring it back with the AAA blockbuster Hollywood style story? And I think the single player they have, the single player is really fantastic. And
great.
They've got a story
really good news.
It ties all this combat together in a good way. It's not just tacked on for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that was one of the main kind of interesting things about it, which was excited to see. Yeah, was good because obviously he's ingrained in our heads as this good guy.
Yes, Jon Snow in space.
Does he pull that off? I know we're obviously not talking about details, but just the character himself, was he one of the best kind of elements of the story, or is it just the whole thing's just work?
Well, you don't see him a lot, but when you do, his character is quite chilling. He plays it really well, and the capture technology that we've got these days is bloody amazing because it just does look like him. And when it transitions into CGI, that is flawless, and it looks so good.
How? Just a quick one, just for my own thing. Conor McGregor, is he in it like for seconds, or is he in it quite a bit?
I don't want to spoil it for you, mate.
Cool, no, that's fine, mate. I'm just really keen. No worries. So one of the other kind of exciting things for me was the zombies in Spaceland. So is it all right?
I mean, if you like zombies, I suppose you're probably gonna like this. It's just another zombies mode to me.
Yeah. I kind of like the. It seemed like they were going for more of a kind of the 80s humor, the 80s kind of soundtrack, and that kind of thing. And it seemed like it was going to be different to the stuff we've seen before.
Visually, it's different. Yeah, it looks. I think it's a lot nicer with the fluorescent colors. It's very vibrant. It's very 80s, 70s, whatever it is. You've got your cameo from Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
it's very funky. I personally don't like the characters.
Okay.
I think they're over stereotyped, edging on racism.
Right. Okay.
Not really my cup of tea.
No.
But there is a story to it. I mean, zombies is so deep. It's unless you know what you're doing, it's hard to get into. Unless you have a good team, it's hard to complete.
Yeah.
I only got into about wave 11, I think was the highest I ever got up to. So I didn't see much of it. I didn't get to many of the Easter eggs. I only saw a couple.
Right, okay.
Such as there's like a robot. If you find his head, put his head on his body, you can use him to give you challenges, and you can pause him if you want to pause the challenges, that kind of thing. So I like that they have these little nuggets that you have to find to add extra gameplay to it. And they've also, Infinity Ward have taken a slightly different stance on zombies. They know it's hard to get into, so to make it more accessible, they have tried to make it a bit more user-friendly with pop-ups and tutorials and trying to hold your hand a little bit without being patronizing, which is important because, like I say, for people like me, it's a different mode to get into.
Yeah, cool, okay. And the kind of the other big draw for the game and the series has always been the multiplayer. So how does that work in this time? Is it kind of follow a very similar formula? Have they tried to mix things up a little with the kind of the new modes and stuff like that? How
so it is COD. It is you level up, you get better weapons. You have, instead of specialisms this time, like in Black Ops 3 you had specialists, this time we have rigs. So you've still got different almost play styles, so you get a different perk and you get a different special weapon that you can unlock as you play in a match. As you get more kills and stuff, you unlock it faster. You can still boost jump around the map like you could in Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. So the movement is very fluid in a good way, but also if you're looking more for the boots on the ground combat, it's going to be, again, not your cup of tea. And if that is what you're looking for, I recommend Modern Warfare Remastered, because MWR is so bloody amazing. And that is an interesting aspect about multiplayer for me, in that this year's COD multiplayer feels very hard, feels difficult.
Okay.
The time to kill is incredibly short. So if you see someone first, you're pretty much going to kill them. If they see you first, you're going to kill them. And most of the time, I don't get to see who's attacking me. I'm just dead straight away, and that just, to be honest, that annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. I mean, I love the kind of Battlefield for that, because you've got the massive kind of battlefields to take your time a little bit. Is there any kind of that, or are the maps quite small in comparison? So like the chances of being killed a lot faster would happen because the maps are a little smaller, or
So the maps are definitely smaller, especially if you're talking about in comparison to Battlefield.
Yeah.
But as far as COD maps go, great Infinity Ward style design. You've got the certain channels. You pretty much got 3 routes like a MOBA in most COD maps. So they stick to that formula. Different routes you're going to go down, you know where you're going to get attacked from. So you start to look out for certain areas. But it is so fast paced with all the boosting and wall running and jumping around that it is more challenging than I think COD has ever been. And that does put people off. That puts me off a little bit, which is why I think this year Modern Warfare Remastered is the more fun multiplayer game mode of the 3 we've talked about.
Yeah, but in terms of kind of the story, I mean, it's definitely they seem to have put more effort into making this, a good solid story. Where things like Ghosts, for me, Call of Duty Ghosts was just a bit weak on story, and they kind of took a back seat and focused a lot on the multiplayer. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, I obviously loved Ghosts. And I think this is more in line with Ghosts and Advanced Warfare story than it is with Black Ops, which I think the Black Ops stories are always a bit cuckoo. I mean, the last one, I don't know what was going on there. That was just insane, parts of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I never played the last one, but the ones, the kind of, the ending to the first one was just, for me, a bit, I don't know.
Did we ever find out what those numbers were, Chris?
No, God knows. Throughout that, the concept was like great. I was like, oh, this is really clever, and then it just went above my head, and it just seemed like they were trying to be too clever.
I think that's a Treyarch problem. They try to be too clever. Those games aren't my cup of tea.
Infinity Ward are phenomenal, and I'm glad that this seems to be, a great COD game. That's how it's coming across anyway.
Yeah. So the story is tight, but they've also introduced side missions as well. So they've got extra content if you want to take more content out of the single player. If you don't, it's going to last you 5, maybe 6 hours. But if you do, you get an extra hour, maybe 2 hours out of it. So you've got the option there, which is nice.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's great. So it gets your approval, Cav.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So I'm liking the game. I'm liking the single player a lot more than the zombies or the multiplayer. But as an all-round package, yeah, it's good.
Brilliant. Okay, if you've not got anything more to say, Calvin, I think we should probably end there.
Brilliant.
So if you want to read the review, watch the video, keep up to date with all of the Call of Duty news and all of the gaming news for you guys, follow us at GodisaGeek on Twitter, or you can head over to the website GodisaGeek.com. Also, if you'd like to get more content, exclusive stuff like that, videos before they get released, if you head over to Patreon at patreon.com/GodisaGeek, and you can follow me and Calvin on Twitter. at Bros with Froze TV for Kevin, and at First Avenger 83 for me. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for listening.
Hello, did you enjoy that video? I did. But if you really enjoyed it, click subscribe over here. Just here-ish, somewhere there, and you will never miss a video. Just down here, if you really liked us, you can donate to our Patreon, $1 or £1 a month, and seriously, it helps us make stuff like this. This very camera recording this, that pays for it. Also, do you know what? Actually, I'm a bit big, aren't I? I need to be smaller.
Right, now over here, there's a video you can watch. If you click the playlist over there, you can watch that. There's loads of reviews and stuff. Seriously, it's just loads of content everywhere. It's just content, man. Content!